So let's just ignore everything I said in the past about never using road shoes or road pedals. You can't hold me to anything I say, now or in the future. Since I have this weakness for white cycling shoes, and ironically I haven't had a pair for like 2-3 years, I stumbled over a really sweet pre-order deal on these new S-Phyre RC902 here in Japan. Retail price over in the States, I think it's like $400 or something like that. That's a lot of money for a pair of shoes. And back in September I found this deal on Rakuten, I think it was, for about 300 converted. And last time I checked, that deal is actually still available. So if you're in Japan and are interested in these, check the link down in the description. So back when this was announced, I read all the previews on basically all the websites, and it was basically just a bunch of PR gibberish about power transfer and twist zones and all that gibberish that I don't give a hoot about. So I thought I would make this video about what I really wanted to know about the shoe before I pulled the trigger. Obviously I still pulled without knowing that stuff, but yeah. So first I want to go really up close and personal and check out all the details, what's new, what's changed, compare it to my other Shimano shoes, at least where it makes sense, any obvious fit changes and stuff like that. I want to take a closer look at the new Li2 Boa Dials, and of course we need to check the weight, the actual weight of this size 45. And since the previews mentioned mesh, I was really curious how easy or difficult is it to keep these nice, clean and white and sparkly. I might even try to do some touch-up work for my clumsiness. And last but not least, I want to explore the endless possibilities with white shoes and the sock game. So let's get into it. Just to show what comes in the box, apart from the shoes, you get the bigger arc supports for the insoles, as well as a shoe carrying bag, neatly divided pockets for each shoe, but nothing to write home about, not at the same level as the bag that comes with some of the Giro shoes. No socks either, like we have seen in the past with some S-Phyre shoes. So here's the shoe in all its glory, and I don't know how well this will translate on video, but these white versions still has that hint of a rainbow reflection that we could see on the previous version. The heel cup has gotten a darker gunmetal finish compared to the light gray from the 901 model. Pair that with the blue shiny S-Phyre logo and those black ringed Boa Dials, this shoe really pops in my eye. Delicious. One thing I was curious about from all the press previews was the mention of the reinforced mesh, which is what I think we can see around the toe box. And I'm happy to see that the reinforcement layer is on the outside and is pretty firm and has a very slick finish, so it doesn't wrinkle and it should be easy to keep clean, which is always a bonus on white shoes. The front of the toe is reinforced even more and you can't really push down on it with your hand, so good protection for the toes unlike some other shoes out there. There's another layer of protection stretching from the bottom of the sole up to about a centimeter in front of the toe box on the inside of the shoe. Pretty smart placement here to save the upper from toe overlap tire rub. Definitely something I will experience with the cleat mounted really far back. Underneath the shoe we can see the big front vent, the stiffness index of 12, that tells me absolutely nothing. Stiffness of 5 was probably more than enough for me, but as stiff as they come. Moving down we can see how the upper wraps around the whole shoe and is sewn together at the bottom of the shoe. This is probably what worries me the most about this shoe. I can't imagine this will handle a lot of walking on anything other than smoothly paved roads. I will definitely try to stay off any gravel roads, but it's not really designed for that either, so time will tell how this will hold up. Back at the heel we can see the replaceable heel block with a nice air scoop for the rear ventilation, and if we remove the insole we can also see the single screw that keeps that heel pad in place. As you can see, the ventilation hole should be pretty simple to tape shut as we move into the colder seasons. Same with the front ventilation, and you can see that the cleat nut waterproofing sticker, or whatever you call it, is already in place. The heel retention mechanism has also changed a bit, as you can see with this black rubber netting things on each side of the heel. This replaces the gray sawtooth-like fabric that could be found on the older S-Phyre shoes, but I would say they have also tightened up the heel padding in general, at least if you compare to my first gen XC9 shoe on the left here. Heel tightness feel more similar to the RX9 than my XC9. Last but not least, we have the new Li2 Boa Dials. Lower profile and more impact resistance, blah blah blah. They claim a bunch of stuff. I don't know about the latter, but they definitely feel a bit slicker. They also seem to have a smoother tightening feel, not as pronounced clicks as before. You can still feel them, but it's very smooth. Loosening them still takes a lot more force like before, and to fully unlock them, you pull the dial straight up to disengage the ratchet. Just looking at them, they seem to be less bulky, and depending on where you measure, there are indeed a few millimeters lower than the previous dials. Compare here to my XC9 and my Pearl Izumis. Now, it's not really apples to apples, but comparing the fit with my first gen XC9, it's still very much a Shimano fit, but like I mentioned, the heel is a bit tighter and the front of the toe box has more volume at absolute front of your toes, so to speak. And you can pretty much see that from the outside with your naked eye here. Again, closer to the RX8 fit, but I would say the toe height is still bigger on the new RC902. Of course, we need to check that weight as well. This is a size 45 with the standard insoles, but no cleats, and the shoe comes in at a respectable 267 and 266 grams. Not the lightest on the market, but that has never really been expected by Shimano. I was surprised though that they actually are a bit lighter than my Pearl Izumis, so I guess I need to put them up for sale now. I've done a handful of indoor rides, a few short ones outside, including this hideous day that took some self-convincing to do. But as usual, this is not a review. First of all, my feet are probably different from yours. Second, I have not put enough distance on these yet to really say anything of value in terms of durability. But I will say, out of the box, they feel excellent. Classic Shimano fit with a slightly tighter heel and a little more toe wiggle room at the front compared to my old S-Phyre XC9s. No hot spots for my feet, and the boas are super easy to get just right. The reason I took them out in this hideous weather was to get them dirty on purpose. I know, it's absolute madness. But some pretty good news, the upper is so slick, not much sticks to the surface at all, and a simple shower in the sink makes the upper pretty much like new. The problem is more the lining of the shoe that will turn gray pretty quick if you keep riding in those kinds of conditions. Making a habit of giving them a proper clean soon after the ride and not letting them dry up dirty for a week is probably a good idea. I noticed the upper strap also seemed to leave a black mark on the liner at the ankle. This happened on my first indoor ride, so nothing to do with the foul weather. But I can keep this reasonably clean with some elbow grease. Here I just use a sponge and regular dishwashing liquid to scrub the lining, and once they dry up, they still look reasonably fresh, I think. If I could have it my way, I would have made the lining black instead, but maybe that's just me. That reinforced layer on the mesh might be a bit fragile. As you can see here, I scuffed the toe, and this actually happened as I was stepping off my indoor trainer and managed to put my shoe against the spinning flywheel on the trainer. That surface is like a really fine sandpaper, so maybe I shouldn't judge too hard. I seem to have a knack for scuffing up brand new shoes. I tried touching up this with some leather paint, The result was not very good visually, but at least it will add another layer of protection for the future. So to end this video, I thought I would leave you with the best part about white cycling shoes, and that is pretty much any sock will look good as long as it's not ankle socks. So this is for all my sock nerds out there. Enjoy!